All right, so today is Tuesday, the 19th. Yesterday, there was no school. It's Easter Monday. Okay. Um, so it is 4/19/22. If you haven't already, please make sure that you put your first and last name on your packet. This is Q4 week 3. The items that are due this week, we have our warm up, we have our homework, we have an area practice sheet that we're going to submit. We have a coordinate plane practice sheet that we're going to commit, or distance. It's actually distance on the coordinate plane. I'm just going to put distance. And your quiz this week is going to be on distance, which is really Pythagorean theorem, because we're using Pythagorean theorem to find the distance on a coordinate plane. Okay? I'm going to pause to give you a chance to write those items down. That's what's due this week. All right, so today we're going to do our warm-up. You should have already completed the warm-up. We're off to a slow start. Had a couple things I needed to get done. Then we're going to do some practice on Pythagorean theorem word problems. I'm going to shorten the word Pythag, word problems. And then I'm going to go over distance. Okay? Distance on a coordinate plane. I started it, but I did not finish it. We didn't have any real practice with it. We did just when it was on the flat line. We started that before the spring break, but we didn't do much else. Our homework for tonight, we have Tuesday portion of our packet. The help video, Miss Savadra's doing the help video. And again, I'm going to send it to you and remind, and it's also going to be on Canvas. So please don't forget that. I'm going to pause to give you a chance to write.
Already did it.
All right, that's good. But still, I need you alert. That's good. I just want you to stay alert so you can do well this quarter. And that's what I'm concerned about. All right, warm up for tomorrow. I'm not going to be here, so I'm going to go ahead and write this in. You're doing the warm up in the video. So let's watch the video, because everything is in the video. And the teacher model video is on Canvas, and I'm also going to send it to you in Remind. Okay. There is a homework help video for tomorrow as well. That's the one that I've created. And of course, again, there's no homework help videos for Thursday. This is a very short week, so there's no tutoring this week, okay? See, I didn't put that up here. No tutoring this week. There's no way I could really squeeze that in. Remember, if you have questions, though, or concerns, you can always email me or send me a message and remind. Okay, let's take out our planner so we can write our stuff down. This is a brand new week. This is week 3. It goes from April the 19th, 19, 20, 21, 22. And this is Q4W3. Write that on both sides, please. All right, so Monday was the 18th, was 4/18, and there was no school here. Tuesday is 4/19, and Math 8. We have our homework, We have a homework help video. Okay. On the 20th, Math 8, teacher absent. This will be, you will have a teacher model video that you'll watch. And in that video, I'll be showing you how to do the warm-up. There'll be notes that you put in your interactive notebook. And you're going to do a worksheet on area because we're getting ready to start volume. So it's a review. For those of you that have forgotten how to find area, I'm going to be taking the time to go through that again. And then when I return, we'll be doing volume.
Remember, as we're going through the EFG review,
all right, so this is the sheet that you'll do tomorrow. I'm going to go ahead and give this sheet to you so that you'll have it. You can write on this sheet. So this is the one that you'll do tomorrow. Any questions about that? Make sure that you show your work on the back so that you can take a picture of both sides and submit it. So you're going to show your work on the back of this sheet. Okay? You're going to take a picture of it and then submit it. All right, let's go ahead and put this away. Oh, I forgot to label these days. This is 421. This is 422. And again, Math 8, you do submit your work. Submit work. You submit your work on Friday, or you can do it Thursday night. Whenever you finish with it, just go ahead and submit it. And then you have a quiz on distance. Okay. Okay, let's look at the warm-up. All right. So for this one, did y'all end up doing Monday? Did anybody do Monday first? Or did you just get right to Tuesday? Okay, so let's do Monday, and then tomorrow I'll go through Tuesday and Wednesday. All right, identify the following as rational or irrational. Okay, rational or irrational. -3/9, is that rational or irrational? It's rational. And you can reduce, look at me spelling words, kind of crazy. You can reduce this fraction to a negative what over what? What does this fraction reduce to? 1/3. Okay, it's still rational. What about the second? Is this rational or irrational?
irrational.
Irrational because of the pi. Remember, pi is irrational. Very good. And then what about this decimal? Is it rational or irrational? It's very rational. The only decimal that is irrational are the ones that have the dots at the end. They continue, but they don't have a pattern as to how they continue. All right, so how many blocks further away is the park from the park is to Ben's house than David's house? So we're doing two different measurements. Ben's to the park and David's to the park. So David to the park is easy. You see this? We draw a straight line from David to the park. And let's count how many units this is. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units, okay? So David is 5 units from the park. Please write that down. Now we need from Ben to the park, okay? Ben to the park. So I'm going to erase this, and now I'm going to draw a line from Ben to the park. Ben's house to the park, a straight line. Looks just like that. This is the distance that I need to find from here to here. Okay? So now, in order to find this distance, I can't just count the units from here to here because the line is cutting through the grid lines. It's not laying flat on the grid lines. So what you do is you take you use the grid lines to draw a right triangle. So I'm going to go from this point, I'm going to draw a line straight down using these grid lines, and then straight across from the park. So I'm using the grid lines to draw a right triangle. So this is a right triangle. So I can count the number of units here and the number of units here and use Pythagorean theorem to find this side, how many units this is. So how many units is this leg here on this triangle? Come on, y'all, count please. How many units from here to here? How many units is that? 8. This is 8 units here. Very good. Now, how many units is this leg from here to here?
6.
6. So now we're going to use Pythagorean theorem to find the distance, or this length right here from Ben's house to the park. So we use a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Remember, the a and the b are the legs. This is a, this is b. So we got 8 squared plus 6 squared equals c squared. C is what we're trying to find, the slanted side. So now we're going to simplify. I think I put my calculator back. Yep, I did. Let me pause real quickly. All right. Second plus 7, 1, 2, clear. And let's find 8 squared. What's 8 times 8?
64.
We got 64 plus, what's 6 times 6? 36. Bring down the c squared. So let's add this together. What's 64 plus 36? 100. Bring down the equal. Bring down the c squared. Now what do we do to solve for c? What's the opposite of squaring a number? Square root. Very good. So now let's find the square root of 100. Remember to type in square root. You type in second x squared, and you type in 100. What number can be multiplied times itself to give you 100? 10. So the square root of 100 is 10. So C is equal to 10 units. Okay, so this is the amount from Ben's house to the park is 10. Now, how much farther is Ben than David? 5. How did you figure out it was 5? Because what, baby? What'd you do? It's 5 more. Or you could say 10 units minus the 5 units that David had, and it's 5 units away. 5 units away. Or, yeah, away. Okay, 5 more units away. And this is the answer here. Mm-hmm. All right, and I'm going to pause for the calls, okay? Okay, take out your notebook because you're going to add a page to your notebook. We started page 13, distance on the coordinate plane, and we wrote some steps down for how to find the distance. But we did a very simplistic sheet where the line, it was easy. All we had to do was just count the number of units from one point to the other. So now we're going to do ones where the lines aren't so easy to count, where the units aren't so easy to count. Sorry, said that so wrong. And I'm going to pause until you get this out. And this is the sheet that I put on your desk earlier. I want you to put this sheet in front of you as well. Here we go. Let's follow these steps. This is going to be way easier than you think it is. All right, so we're going to use Pythagorean theorem to find the distance between these 2 points. So the very first step is to graph the points. Well, the points are already graphed, and the line is already drawn for you. That's the very first step, okay? Second step, okay, if it's a slanted line, you're going to use the grid lines to draw a right triangle. I can draw a right triangle using the grid lines upside down, this way, Or I can draw a right triangle this way. Doesn't matter. I'm going to draw a right triangle going down. So use these grid lines to connect or to make a right triangle. Do that now, please. Come on, sit up, please. And this is going on page 13. So now I'm going to use Pythagorean Theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And I'm going to find the length of this slanted side, c. These are my legs, a and b. And the side that I'm trying to find is the slanted side, which is c, the side opposite of the right angle. So this is my a, this is my b, and the slanted side, the side opposite of the right angle, is c. So now I'm going to count the number of units for A. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So this is 10 units. I'm going to count the unit here, B. It's 1 unit. So now I'm going to substitute. Jalen, sit up, babe. So we have A is 10, B is 1, and C, we don't know. So now we're going to simplify. What is 10 squared, or 10 times 10? 100 plus 1 squared, which is 1 times 1 is what? 1. So now when we add that together, that gives us 101 is equal to c squared. All right, so now what do we do? How do we get c by itself? What's the opposite of squaring a number? So we're going to find the square root on both sides. And we're going to round all of our answers to the nearest. Let's do the 10th place. 1 space behind the decimal, okay? So here we got the square root. Remember that second x squared and 101. And what does that give us as a decimal when you press enter there? Very good. 10 point, you see this? 0.4. We probably need to do 2 spaces behind the decimal here. So, because that's a 0. So we got really, this 4 goes up to 5. So this is going to be about 10 and 5/100ths. About is the squiggly line. So let's just round to the nearest 100th place. THS. Any questions about how to do that? I'm going to pause to give you a chance to write. I see some people still writing. Second, the same thing. This is a slanted line. They've already drawn the points for you. They connected them. So we're going to use the grid lines to draw a right triangle. You can draw a right triangle upward like this, or you can draw a right triangle down. Just make sure you use the grid lines to draw your right triangle. Label your sides. The side opposite of the right angle is the side we're trying to find. This is C. This is my A or B. This is my A or B. I'm going to put A here and B here. Now I'm going to count the number of units. How many units is A, this leg right here? How many units is this leg? 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Excellent. Very good, babe. How many units is B? 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Excellent. So now we're going to use Pythagorean Theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and substitute these numbers into the formula and solve for c to figure out the distance from here to here. So my a is 5, so this is 5 squared. My b is 7, so this is 7 squared. And c is what I'm trying to find. Because you have 5 squared. What's 5 times 5?
25.
You have 25 here, plus what's 7 times 7? 49 here. Very good. Bring down the c squared. Now let's add these together. We got 25, type in 25, plus 49. And what does that give you? 74. Now what are we going to do to solve for c to find this missing, the length here? Find the square root. So let's type in the square root of 74. Second, x squared 74. And what does that give us as a decimal? Very good. Look at this. We want 2 spaces. Well, really, look, we can just do 1 space behind the decimal. So that's about 8.6 or 8 6/10. It's about. Okay. Any questions? All right. Let's do number 3. Part of this I want you to do step by step on your own. The first step is already graphed. The line is already connected. It's a slanted line. So I need you to use the grid lines to draw a right triangle. I'm going to pause to give you a chance to do that without me. Please draw the right triangle. Yes, baby. Okay, so let's draw a right triangle. She didn't knock on my door, did she? I never heard her knock on the door.
No. I saw her.
This one. Okay.
I saw her and just.
Okay. Miss Vager? Are you talking about the girls or are you talking about Mr. Vager?
No.
Yeah, I didn't see her.
I'm talking about the girl who just came back.
Okay. Yeah, I was talking about Mr. Vager.
Oh, okay.
That's okay, babe. All right, so we label this A and B. So your A, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And your B is 1. So now I want you to write the Pythagorean Theorem and substitute, and I need to make this look like a 6, I'm sorry. Substitute these values. Do that without me. Pause real quickly. What are we plugging in for A? 6. So this is 6 squared plus what? 1 squared equals c squared. So now what's 6 squared? What's 6 times 6? 36. What's 1 times 1? 1. Okay. And this is c squared. So now what are we going to do on both? What are we going to do here? Sorry, this is 30 what? It's 37. Now what are we going to do? Square root. All right, so let's type in the square root. We have second x squared 37. And what does that give us? This is going to be about what? You have to type it in to see. The square root, how'd you type in square root? Let me see. So second, yellow button here, and then x squared. Okay. You need to see it again. It's second, and then x squared is right here. And then type in 37 and press enter. And what do you get from that? 6.08. See. And this number is 2, so leave the 8. No, 8 stays. All right. Let's do number 4. It's laying on a flat line, so you can count these units. How many units is it from here to here? 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 units is your answer. Number 5, draw the right triangle. I'm going to use the grid lines to draw my right triangle. This is my A. This is my B. C is the side that's missing. What's the units for A? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very good. What's the units for B? 1, 2, 3, 4. Very good. So what are we going to use to find C, the missing link? What's that called? Pythagorean Theorem. What's the formula for Pythagorean Theorem? A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Okay. What are we substituting for A? 5. So now we have here 5 squared. Bring down the squared. Bring down the plus. What are we substituting for B? 4. So bring down the squared. And C is what's missing. So we bring down the C squared. Now let's simplify. What's 5 squared, or 5 times 5?
25.
Very good, 25. Plus, what's 4 times 4, or 4 squared? 16. Excellent. Bring down this side, C squared. Let's add these together. We have 25 plus 16. What's 25 plus 16? 41. Good. Bring down the equal, bring down C squared. What are we doing next? Square root. Okay, so we type in square root. So we have second x squared and 41. Press enter there. What does that give you? About what? 2 spaces behind the decimal. Well, this one, you only need 1 space behind. It's going to be what point what? 6.4. About 6.4. Number 6. Count the number of units. It's on a flat line. How many units is it from here to here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Very good. So now we're going to draw a right triangle here. You can either draw a right triangle going this way or going this way. Use the grid lines. We're going to label this A and this B. What's the number of units for A? 1. What's the number of units for B? 2. So we're going to use Pythagorean Theorem. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. What's my A again? It's 1, so I have 1 squared. What's my B? 2, so I have 2 squared. And C, I don't know. So what's 1 squared? 1 times 1 is what? 1. Plus, what's 2 squared? 2 times 2 is what? 4. Bring everything else down. Okay. Now I'm going to add. What does this give me when I add? 5. Very good. Now what am I going to do to solve for C? Square root. So we're going to type in the square root of 5. So that's the yellow button. Second, x squared, and type in 5 and press enter. That's about what? 2.23. And actually, since we're rounding here, this 3 is going to go up to what number? 4. Thank you, Miss Moore. Okay. So now we're going to draw a right triangle. Label this A, this B. The slanted side is C. How many units is A? How many units is B? 1. Okay. So now we're going to use what to find the missing side? What are we using? Pythagorean Theorem. That's a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So we have a, we substitute, what do we substitute? Sorry, what do we substitute for a? 1. What do we substitute for b? 1. What's 1 times 1? So both of these are just 1. And then what's 1 plus 1? 2. Now what do we do to solve for c? We're going to find the square root of 2. So to type in square root, that's the yellow button, and the x squared. And what does that give you?
1.41.
Very good. About 1.41. Any questions? I'm going to pause to give you a chance to write. All right. On the back side, I want you to do 9 through 12 on your own, and you can mark out the 13 through 20. So 9 through 12 is what you're doing on your own. And you are going to paste the bottom. You're going to fold this paper when you're finished. And you're going to paste this in your notebook. Okay, you can paste it down here. Sometimes what I do is when I want to, I just fold it like this again, and then I paste it at the bottom of the page. Okay, so that way when I open it up, I can still see it.
What page is it?
Page 13. Okay. Please work on that. Do that now. This I'll put in your, we'll put this in our notebook tomorrow. This will be page 14, okay? Does everybody have this sheet? If you don't, please raise your hand so I can give you one. This will go in your notebook tomorrow on page 14. Okay? This will be page 15. That way you're not confused later, okay? So put page 15 on this one. It'll be some notes that go before this. The formulas will go before this. And then we'll do this and put this on page 15.